Type a sparkling heart if you think Lars is hot. Type a sparkling heart if you think Lars is hot. Type a sparkling heart if you think Lars is hot. Dan saya suka Lars. Only if you're basically gay, bi or pan. If you're straight, well, just give I don't know, a black heart. Well, blacks. Okay, blue or red. Okay, that basically counts. Deon, I know you haven't made a little. Well, it's only been a day. Yeah. So to speak, because you're just hanging in there, hun. Right. Oh, I know you've been going through a lot. You don't deserve to go through all of this. No. Right? Yeah. But you're doing good, Deon. Of course. So, it's Wednesday? Yeah, Deon, that's correct, yeah. 10:36. And Deon, you're doing great. Alright. I know, because you're talking to yourself a lot. Ugh. The 15th of October on a Wednesday, and for the darn third time, because I want to be two losses, basically my mother, her boyfriend, and my older brother are asleep, the door is closed, I've been watched the last episode of Steven Universe, well, basically, the series finale, by a channel that I enjoy watching from time to time, named Sorta Stupid, that did basically 17 hours of it, and I have to just say, Rebecca Sugar, hon, what are you doing? What I mean by that is, what are you doing with such amazing writing? I don't understand. And by the way, for anyone that basically is curious, she is Jewish, and she's from Maryland, right? And I think she's non-binary, but I know she's bisexual for sure. No wonder Garth is such inspiration. Right, Deon, yeah. Tell me about it. Ugh, sorry, I like to talk to myself, but yeah, it's alright. Ugh, I know, because you do this a lot. But the thing is, how can I say this? I'm sorry. I wanted to share my thoughts for the ones that have never seen it. Joey, to be honest, which I will be anyway, it's the best Cartoon Network series I've ever watched. This is not only good for adults, but also for men out there, right? For my boys and men, whatever term you want to use, okay? For my grown boys out there, that basically is listening to all the way through. You can't even imagine on the last, let's just say, well, the future, right? Which is supposed to be, let's just say, the future, pun intended, sequel of the universe. There's a lot of baggage on here. And by the way, this image here is supposed to be Pearl on the left, Garnet in the middle, right? And then Amethyst. Well, I'll kind of just be a little bit random. I see Pearl as white, Garnet as black, and then Amethyst as Hispanic. Steven, he's mixed. Whatever, he may be mixed black or something. Who knows? I'm sorry, I had to be random. And then we got Connie, who basically is Indian. And I don't know who's Native American. Probably that mailman, so to speak. Lars, he's Filipino. Sadie, well, she's white as well. I just had to be a little bit random. Okay, I basically downloaded this image on Pinterest. And I don't want to hear about this AI stuff that people reacted to. I don't care about that. Okay, that's not important. The reason why the universe is so compared to how people thinking that, Rebecca Sugar, whom is basically the inventor of the universe here, okay, is a Nazi. They need to leave off of YouTube for saying that is not appropriate, or that she caused 9/11 or something. Whoever that person is, you can get erased from oblivion. Basically, let's just say I want to pull the Zeno brothers on you, from Dragon Ball Super, just erase you from existence, or off of YouTube, if that makes it more appropriate, because you can't be talking like that. I'm sorry, you can't. Oh, well, actually, Deon, don't apologize. Right. Steven Universe, let's just say, is really relatable for people that have mental health issues or mentally vulnerable. And especially since I had my incidents of my autistic meltdowns, I basically pulled a Steven quite a few times, right? Especially Pearl, don't get me started, because she panics, she kind of has OCD, and definitely autistic for some reason. Garnet, or I always thought I'd be the father figure of my nephews and nieces, kinda, right? At least in the past. And then Amethyst, I always thought from years, especially Dumbo, I would be considered a brother. We're nowhere near related, because I would not have anyone messing with him. Or you basically be losing a limb, not literally. You know what I mean, right? So to basically explain just some parts of the universe, because I know it's a little bit late and I was in a mood to basically do this, but I'm kind of nervous at the same time due to my bipolar depression. My mood swifts really, really, really frequently. You basically have this boy, right? That is 14. I'm surprised he is 14. I thought he might be, I don't know, let's see, 11 in the beginning of the series, and then, I don't know, 17 or 18 there, the future. I was surprised how Steven grew, honestly. Or give or take, right? Basically, you have this boy that is half gym and half human. And I love where this is going, because especially if you are mixed race, it's pretty relatable as well, because you have to relate on both the humans and then the gyms, right? Especially someone that's black, of course. I could relate to people that are on the Asian side, because, spoiler, I do have Chinese DNA. So, Dan, I think someone said that you have sun and eyes. Yeah, I think so. If you're watching this, Deon, later on, I know you're doing your best. Honestly, you did your best. So, yes, because my great-grandmother's side, she basically looks way more Asian than I am. So for my Asian viewers, thanks a lot. Okay? Because thanks to you, you're the ones that made me really interested in your darn continent. Okay? So I blame all you for that. Okay? Especially if you're Indonesian, Nepali, Filipino, you know, for example, at I think I missed one more country. Wait. Nepal, Indonesia, Philippines, Bangladesh. Just had to point that out. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, and I was supposed to watch this video by ZD Boy. I'll play the audio in the end about why Nintendo is gaming's biggest problem with the cells or whatever in the Switch too. Sorry, I have ADHD, or that I mentioned, or AUDHD. You basically have this boy that is practically adopted, kinda. Well, he was raised by his father, right, named Greg Universe, whom somehow was able to, I guess you could say, reproduce with rose quartz, which is how Steven was born. I don't know how that works. I always ask that question to Deon. How are they born? Yeah, you don't know. No. You know, hopefully that we have like one of your viewers or planners that will tell us. Yeah, if they know about it. So I keep talking to myself a lot. Deon's right. You don't have to from now on. Okay, you can stop. You're doing your best. So the thing is that they live in a fictional, because non-fictional, wait, is it non-fiction or fiction, right? Because fiction means real, non-fiction means not real, right? I think. I know, Deon has to be. I know, you did it again. Because it is taking place in Delaware, which is basically in Brownie and Mia State, which is two amazing viewers of mine, right? And yes, Delaware does exist the same way Wyoming does. And basically, Steven, he goes on these crazy adventures with the gems because of how they would go to other planets and how they basically did have their gems colonize the Earth, or because of the diamond, supposed to be the leaders that wanted to annihilate the Earth with a cluster, which I guess is supposed to be these deceased gems. I don't forget what the cluster is, right? Because there were corrupted gems that Yellow Diamond could easily heal. She's basically the doctor of it. Well, you guess you could say Blue Diamond is the counselor. White Diamond, she's practically the parent of all of them. And basically, for Steve Universe, it would, if I could express my own words here, and this is about a script, if you can tell, is about racial discrimination, about war, and hot dogs, at least some episodes, and ice cream and cat sandwiches. That sounds delicious. Don't worry, it's not real cats. It's ice cream chocolate sandwiches, or shape basically cat heads, okay? And oh man, I can't start from the first episode. I'm sorry, I can't. You definitely have to view it for any of you who are really curious. It's really good, especially if you love Brazilian music. I think it's supposed to be bossa, which is Brazilian jazz. No wonder Brazilians love seeing Universe so much. Not to mention my crush is Brazilian with the sexy stomach. I'm sorry, I will not be able to survive in Brazil because the birds are too hot down there. What's wrong with you Brazilians? Why do they be so darn good looking? Totally! Nada dessa celebração mesmo. O amor brasileiro. Leslie, tá bem. Mas, to basically speed up about the future episode, right? After when Steven, Peridot, Connie, Pearl, Garnet, etc., right? That basically meet up with the diamonds because of how they need to make peace with them because of how they're misunderstood that the earth is not this a kindergarten or something that I don't know how to explain it. Well, Rose Quartz, which is supposed to be Steven's mother, that he is in that form, basically found the earth, and she's basically the Christopher Columbus, at least from what sort of stupid basically mentioned, right? And how she wants to give life on that earth, but the diamonds, though, they think otherwise. To basically make this easier, before I talk about the future in here, think about how the diamonds, they're basically homophobic, right? Or just racist, especially the racist part, because I know Blue Diamond pulled that line in that episode because why these humans are here when they're supposed to go to that ball? Because she basically has a lack of knowledge. She's not stubborn. She just doesn't really acknowledge it. And I understand that. Because they're diamonds, right? It's imagine, like, for me, Japanese people, and I would try not to take it too hard. Because I understand, it's not right, but I am open-minded that, oh yes, they may not like certain foreigners or blacks because of what they have went through. Especially since they haven't done anything to me physically, or assault me, of course, right? Because I get it. Because what they went through, it's different, it's distant. It's also, I'm an alien compared to them. We're humans, right? This different skin pigments and DNA. It actually makes sense on this earth. This earth is huge. Yes, we're humans, but we're from different origins on the planet. And basically that's what the diamonds would see, because they didn't know that the humans could be together with the diamonds. That's one thing, right? And to speed up on future, when Steven had to go to... I'm sorry, I'm just speeding this up a bit. This is a short version because I know there are YouTubers that will explain Steven Universe much, much better than I am, especially since they're doing from episode to episode. You basically got a boy that aged up. He's a teen, right? 16 and Steven Universe future. That have went through a lot of stress because of how he feels that he needs to have the responsibility to basically save his, not only his father, but the gems themselves that basically raised him as though they're ants. Not to mention he likes this Indian girl, Connie, that I mentioned, right? And how he has separation anxiety. He has avoidant personality disorder. Well, more like separation anxiety. Avoidant personality disorder is when you're afraid to be rejected when you want to be involved with people, right? And as someone that has social and generalized anxiety, it's a pain in the brain sometimes because I cannot stand around people a lot. I do have a fear of rejection quite frequently. There's a condition for it. It's pretty bad. Okay? That's why I don't like to message anyone when I used to be online. They had to message me first because I don't reject someone unless they're being really inappropriate with me, right? And separation anxiety is when you're afraid of being isolated, which is really common in children, of course. I was one of them at that time, especially with being autistic, right? And Steven, for example, since he has half gem, he basically has these magical powers that he inherited from his mother that was supposed to be Pink Diamond, whom basically had to, let's just say, camouflage or gemflage herself into Rose Quartz, right? Because Rose Quartz is supposed to be some type of gem, right? Which is lower than the diamonds, if I recall it, I believe. Because of how she doesn't like what the diamonds, the white, blue, and yellow, basically were in charge of. Let's just say she was supposed to be a little soldier, right? Something like that, and that actually makes sense. And she basically does have a little sidekick or a partner named Pearl. Not to mention Pearl, I think she's my favorite. Yet again, like Garnet, yet again, like Amethyst. I guess it's Pearl, Garnet, and then Amethyst. They're all great, honestly, for the three main ones, right? And for Steven, for example, he had issues balancing his frustration and his anger because he feels like he has resisted, right? I remember one point I was at Walmart, I had the worst meltdown, and I think the police was called, but they weren't being rude or you could get trespassed. I cried. I did. And I guess the officer, I never looked at him in the eye. It was a black man that had a sexy voice. My mother, she arrived because I told him I want to call my mother, and I asked my mother that I felt as a son. I don't even know what the officer looked like or anything. I had my eyes closed. Again, this happened probably like maybe right after COVID, So, years ago, I think? I don't know. Again, I was in my late 20s, right? And you could say I had like a temper tantrum. Well, not really. I had a traumatic brain down that you would think a 10-year-old would have, right? Because it was just a lot, because someone's behind me online, and and I'm glad I'm really short, because I'm sure I probably wouldn't get as much sympathy if I was average height or tall, I guess. And my mother, and what was it for her? Honestly, she's basically the Greg of this. I don't know. I would feel embarrassed, right? Because I had to look up, and then people looking at me. Well, they'd probably be concerned that, well, what happened? For anyone that feels wonder who I am, yes, that's me. If you probably don't even remember that Walmart incident, or there's so few of you. And yes, I'm in Arizona. I'm proud of our darn state, darn it. So I had to just share a little bit of that. And Steven, he sees himself as a monster because he feels that he cannot help everyone. He basically, let's just say, he has Superman syndrome, right? Because he thinks that he needs to save every single person, including Lois Lane, right? Which is Connie, I guess. If not, he feels like he failed. If that actually makes sense. Especially in that scene when he was talking to Connie's mother, which I can't pronounce her name, Mia Shorin, I believe, that Steven had a cracked skull because of all that trauma, physically, mentally, spiritually, and of course emotionally, of what he had to put up with since the first season. And as someone that basically has PTSD, that does trying to basically be a healthy human and having a healthy heart around others, especially how I've been backstabbed, not to mention of how I had a fraud on here, and I still deal with a little bit of trust issues, right? Because, wow, I didn't know half of my supporters were, I guess, one person. I want to mention her name because she's that meaningless. It's like that. It actually makes sense, right? And I had Rebecca Sugar so darn much for the way that she write this animated series. This animated show. I don't know how she does it. Honestly, Rebecca Sugar, how do you do this, hun? How? You're such a lovely woman for this. I'm saying this in a chopper way. Like, how dare you make this so good? I'm a fan of Universe. I am. So much that I literally had to watch it more than once for the last episode. I even cried. Literally. And not to mention, when I did my reactions, most of my viewers at the time when we had the analytics or whatever that was different with the little pie charts, most of them were boys. I'm thinking for my boys out there, I think a lot. Because I thought a lot of girls are like this, which I know they do. But man, boys, I had to say this is basically our version of Sailor Moon, but a little different, right? And it's just that good. It's just really that good. And I just don't know how to point this out, It's something else. So I'm kind of trying to wear myself out, and I did have a little bit of rest today. I did comment on quite a few videos, but probably not that many. I want to come at like 100, but I think Deon, you only come at 20. Yeah, give or take. But you're doing your best. Pinch your cheeks. So I just had to just get this out of my system because why not? And I do still miss my house that we got falsely evicted. I won't basically forget the homeless Floridan family at all. And I just hope that the ones that have never seen the universe, this may be something that may get you interested, maybe, or for the ones that have seen it already, and or a fan that you enjoyed hearing my thoughts. There's some other stuff I want to add too, but the extra characters, whatever, because I'm just giving a brief example of how I see this series, because it will make you cry in the last episode, because of how you got the diamonds, you got the gems themselves, right? Not to mention Spinel and Connie, right? Greg, which is his father, etc. Paradise, especially hugging to Steven and him crying out all of that trauma, right? Because he doesn't see himself as a monster anymore. So I can relate to that. And basically my message for this series is that it's really big when it comes to mental health awareness. It's big. It really is. It really is. I think it should be acceptance, because you accept that you have mental health, right? Especially since I see PTSD, you can't get rid of it. It stays with you for life, especially that episode that I remembered when Pearl was hugging that other Pearl. She's the one with the shuttered eye. She would ask Pearl, "How did you stop hurting?" And Pearl replied, "I didn't." So you can still live a healthy life. And think about if you basically have a flu that you can't get rid of, right? But you can still live. That's how it feels, but in the heart, it actually makes sense. Well, the brain, but also, mostly the heart, because you still feel that pain in you. It doesn't go away, but you still do your best to live. Rebecca Sugar, how dare you make this so good? So that's the thing I just want to share. And yes, I just had to be honest. Rosalie was really hot. He really is. I love the way he makes that stomach. Oh my, like an alien. Damn it. Oh, I just wish he never messages me. It's been since the 1st of October. I don't know where he is. Ugh. Man, I hope he sees me. He's 33 now, right? So I knew him since he was, well, 18 going on 19. He told me he's 19, so I'll stay at that. Plus, I like that age, right? I guess because it reminds me of the stuff I remember at 19. It's such a good age. Plus, I gotta be honest, I like that number. 1924? Anyway, sorry, had to do that. But that's just something I just want to just get this out of my system. And by the way, I could just share what I've ate today. Sadly, it's only chicken nuggets from 337 to 337 to 344. I ate 5 pieces. 8:55 to 9:06. I ate 10 pieces. And then I got 9:11 to 9:18, which is during afternoon tonight. Of today, I've ate 4 pieces. Deon, yeah, I think that's a... Wait. Is it Deon? Oh. Wait a minute! I'm sorry. It's not... Yeah, Deon, you ate 10, hun. Yeah. So, I ate a total of... Oh, look at that. Huh. That number. Wonderful. So, that's just something I just wanted to share. And I thank all of you so much for just listening to this. And I hope everyone had a great birthdays in your family or yourselves, because I know one of them was Joseph. I hope his birthday went well. And then someone else's, Deon, I think is, I know because you talk to yourself a lot, right? It's supposed to be Lauren, Deon, yeah. I hope that both your birthdays went well, and then Dumble's mother as well. I did a community post. By the way, I just wanted to say this again because I'm not sure my videos are getting seen. Please, unless he does an apology. Not only it's so offensive that he basically makes money off of that BetterHelp sponsorships of his viewers that may, especially, well, because he basically posts gory animated storytelling, but also to the victims that basically died. I know he doesn't care, and yet he has over 200,000 subscribers. It really worries me because I just cannot accept someone on this site. He needs to apologize for what he did. If the evaluator could, of the Jeffrey Dahmer victims, a Talking Hat needs to do the same as well. I had to drink some apple juice. Not to mention 10% off. 10% off doesn't even get you jack. You know, it's just, to me, he's a cash fraud, right? I can't stand that man. I don't mean that, you know, may have poor incomes or whatever. It makes me sick. So, I just thought I could actually just get this out of my system. And I thank y'all. So, thank all so much for listening. It's 11 o'clock and Gym Power 25.